Hello world. Okay, so we are back for episode number 3 of the Volcanion Chronicles as I work to improve myself in my play on a Volcanion deck. And we're going to start things off today by sort of rehashing some of the improvements slash points of advice and tips that and criticisms I give to that my coach has sort of offered me. So overall, turn one goals. This isn't really from him. This is just sort of standard information. But you want Ultra Ball to get Hoopa, and from Hoopa you go to Shaymin with 2 Volcanion-EXs, and that's just a good setup. You want to obviously have a baby Volcanion with an energy on him to power up multiple EX Volcanions. So the key here, the one point that was a note, there was one game where I avoided getting energy in the discard and shouldn't have. So like I only had one energy in the discard, and I had an opportunity to get a second one in and didn't do it. You want to prioritize getting rid of cards that aren't helpful, and this is something I've been especially kind of bad about. So in particular, I've been holding on to VS Seekers, and I'm going to try to not do that so much because they don't have a lot of value early on, right? They're just dead cards that are going to disrupt our entire play in trying to set up. So I want to get better about doing that. There have been, so I talked about only having one energy in the discard at one point. Well, there were other games where I had way too much energy in the discard. Specifically in this Mega Mewtwo game that we saw in the last video. So I put extra energy in the discard, which was likely to cause us problems later on if we hadn't gotten the concession. There were a couple of times, and the Espeon GX was one of them, where I was prioritizing getting that first KO over getting the 2 Volcanion-EX setup. And so that potentially leaves me with no follow through on the second turn. If my opponent is able to do anything, it can cause us problems. Typically, if I'm not going to be getting a knockout, it's better to steam up an energy and do the steam it up, get it on with power heater, rather than to do a manual attachment. And if we don't know for sure that we're going to be able to attack, if we think there's a good chance we won't, doing a manual attachment to the EX isn't the way to go. And more importantly, it's the first point here, and I should have probably talked about it first because it's one of the things that I've been dinged on repeatedly. We want to deal with randomness before we make our decisions. So anytime that we have a manual energy to attach and we have an elixir, we need to play the elixir first. If we have Trainers Mail, we need to use that before we do just standard plays, because we want to find out what the RNG gods are going to give us before we use the resources that are in front of us. We need to have a full picture of what resources we have available. Also, something that I definitely need to get better about is identifying when an opponent's hand looks dead, and so that we can not play an in to help him out. There was a point in the Mega Mewtwo match that I played an in, and it was clear to my coach that my opponent had a dead hand, primarily because he grabbed a Mega Mewtwo but didn't play the Spirit Link. All kinds of typos in that, but anyway. In the mirror match, he noted that I'm benching too many babies before the Sky Field's in play. That I needlessly benched the 4th Volcanion-EX when having the space for Shaymin would have been better. I think I noted that in the video as well, but he basically confirmed my thoughts there. We talked again about prioritizing which cards to discard and making sure that we want to do cards that we can play right now, as opposed to trying to hold on to stuff for the future, because if we don't get through right now, having stuff for the future isn't really going to be that helpful. I need to work on thinning more cards that aren't helpful and aren't looking to be helpful in the direction the match is going. And specifically in the mirror match, we don't want to attach energy to second baby Volcanion or a second energy to a baby Volcanion until we're like using it that turn. Better to keep our options very open, and I think in general that's probably a good tip in general. We have to have a good reason for doing that type of attachment. And then, so there was some debate in my head about whether to play the Hoopa-Shaymin combo when you're in a match against Plume, or to just play it slow in the way I did in the video. My coaches pretty much convinced me that it's better to play the Hoopa-Shaymin combo and get our, ramp our speed up rather than taking the chance to keep it slow. With all the resources we play to get the free retreat, that works out in our favor, and it's we want to be able to tear through, get as many max elixirs as we can before item lock comes into play, and obviously playing the Hoopa-Shaymin combo helps us do that. So that's our 5-minute review. Without any further ado, I'll try to, I want to say I'm going to keep these short, but I think it's important for me to mentally review these before each game. So I'll do more review outside of the videos in the future, but these are sort of the things, that the concepts that I'm currently trying to get better at. Now then, we'll go ahead and get into a match. And starting off, we're playing against a Psychic deck. Did you notice I checked to see what type we're playing? Psychic and colorless. So often that's going to be a Mega Mewtwo, sometimes an Espeon. We get our Volcanion-EX as a starter. And we have a Float Stone, Max Elixir. Go ahead and obviously click done. So here I think we can go ahead and look ahead a little bit and plan on Ultra Balling away the Fisherman and the VS Seeker to get our Hoopa-Shaymin, to get our Hoopa, and then continue. See Shrine of Memories, which is a clear sign that we are indeed playing against the Mega Mewtwo deck, so that's fun. Our opponent lost 1 DCE there and 2 Spirit Links, so hopefully that slows them down a little bit. But they did draw into 2 Mewtwo's. I think ideally, so I'm planning on steaming up this energy. So we're gonna discard these 2, get Hoopa, get Shaymin, and then we have another. So first off, first order of business, Ultra Ball, and we want a Hoopa. Let's look at our deck. So we have all 4 big Volcanions, we have both Shaymins, we only have 1 baby Volcanion, so that's 2 prizes. We have 1 Max Elixir out, so we have all of those. We have both Pokemon Catchers. Looks like 1 Trainers Mail is prized, that's 3. We've got both Lysandres. Maybe we might have 1 in prized. That's 4. We have 2 prizes that I'm not identifying. play our Hoopa. And yes, we want to search for 3 Pokemon EX. Here we're going to have 3 Volcanions out. This is a spot where, you know, there's a little bit of me that could see actually playing the second Shaymin for extra draw, but I'm going to think that's not really the way to go. I'm assuming we're going to attach this to the active, but I think first order of business is to play the Max Elixir. Play it here. So we're still hoping, well, I'm going to go ahead and attach this. We're hoping that we're going to be able to get a baby Volcanion out. With 3 steam ups, he would take a KO on the Shaymin and help us out. We'll get 2 of those now. So if we can now with Shaymin draw a good enough hand, we get ultimately a baby Volcanion and 2 energy. Well, we got the energy, not the baby. Our opponent only has 3 cards, so we definitely don't want to end. So I'm getting that last steam up in, Sycamoring away 1 energy that we'd rather hold on to, but you know, do what you can. And now we have a hand full of energy, an Ultra Ball, and a Max Elixir. I think there's a good chance the Max Elixir is going to miss. We have 4, 8, 9 energy. I guess we go ahead and play it and find out. It didn't. Wow. That's impressive. So, I don't like Ultra Balling away 2 more energy to get our baby Volcanion, but I think it's the right play. We want the VS Seeker in hand to be able to get draw support. And we're going to be able to get, we're setting up pretty well. So I think that's the right play. We want the baby. He helps us set up, and moreover, he takes a knockout. But the setup is the important part. And we will attach here and here. And take 2 prize cards. Oh, Sky Field. That's probably what I was missing. I wonder how many Sky Fields we have prized. The fact that I didn't see them could mean a lot, or it could mean I was just blind. I suspect there's 1 more, and that would account for all of our prizes. So we'll go ahead next turn, probably play that Sky Field. It's going to be interesting if he plays the Parallel City, because it doesn't hurt us in any way. We can immediately counter it as well, but it doesn't hurt us. We're mostly playing the Sky Field to counter his Shrine of Memories, although I think we're going to also try to fight to make sure that doesn't really come into play in the first place. So we're left with the question of whether we try to get another knockout this go round, leaving him with just 1 Mewtwo in play. Oh, and he does. He plays it. He Mega Evolves the back Mewtwo. And, well, now we definitely want to get our Sky Field out, because now we convince the Shaymin and get more card draw. So the question to me is whether we want to do another Power Heater round, or if we want to try to get this Volcanion out. If we manually attach 1 energy now, okay, we're gonna steam up either way, right? To get a knockout, we're gonna have to do 2 steam ups. So regardless of who's getting, like, what's happening, ultimately, we will want to steam up in the meantime. So we'll play that. We'll go ahead, bench the Shaymin, get the extra cards. At some point we're gonna we have a 4th Volcanion-EX. There's nothing else in our deck to bench, so I think it's okay to bench him. Okay, I'm trying to decide. I think we're going to play the Pokemon Catcher and see if we can put more damage. Well, here's the thing. If we can get... Alright. If we can get... I'm going to bench him. I was tempted to Ultra Ball away, and but I didn't really want... I can discard the VS Seeker, but I wasn't sure about that. I want to play the Trainers Mail to see if we're going to be able to get... okay, so we can get a Float Stone, and that's helpful, at least, in letting us attack sooner. Part of what I was looking for there was to see if we're going to have a way to retrieve more energy to steam up more. And we don't currently. So what I'm wondering is whether we want to ding the Mega Mewtwo to put him more into knockout range, or if we want to still leave up in the possibility of hitting the Mew, the baby, or the unevolved. I think we want to go ahead, because if we damage him significantly with the baby, we're more set up, and we're going to Sycamore. We're more set up, and it helps us down the line. So we're going to go ahead and pursue the Max Elixirs. That one misses. We know there's at least 1 energy left in there still, so I'm going to try again. That one misses as well. It's not surprising. I think there probably is exactly 1 energy left in there. There's no reason to attach to the baby Volcanion. I'm going to thin my deck and go ahead and play these Trainers Mails. We have a Pokemon Catcher, we have a Sky Field, we have another Float Stone. There's that energy. Why weren't you in there before? So we're going to want to play this onto the fully charged Volcanion-EX. We'll play another Trainer's Mail, so we get Energy Retrieval. And there's 2 energies in there still. Alrighty, so let's look at this now. We can retreat into here. We have 1 steam up already done. We can get the 2 energies out. We're going to be able to take a KO on the Mega Mewtwo, removing so many. It's totally worth it. I might get yelled at, but it's worth it in my eyes. So play the letter, get these 2. Play the retrieval, get 2 more. And we have a Pokemon Ranger, so we don't even have to necessarily attack with somebody else next turn. Okay, so we're at 160 right now. So steam up another time. We're at 190. Steam up 1 more time. And now we're at 220. So we will KO Mega Mewtwo now. He's not going to be able to knock us out next turn. I think we're better off saving those for... well, if he ends us, we'll want to have attached... this is so close for me. I'm going to do it. And now we'll take the knockout. So the question in my mind there was, you know, if we had held on to that energy, we would have been able to steam up and get a knockout this go around as well, playing the Pokemon Ranger. But I think having the energy attached is more important. He's going to Lysandre something. As long as he doesn't in us, which he can't if he's Lysandering, we can just slap a Float Stone on it. Trainer's Mail will probably get us a Fisherman. We'll go ahead and double check that before we continue. I said probably. Evidently not. So, okay. I guess we will take, what do we have down here? Well, okay, he resigns. I was trying to decide what we were going to want to take here. Probably doesn't really matter. I guess taking the Ultra Ball just to get rid of it might have been the best play at this point, because we can play it and we're not going to want to play an in, so we could discard the in and one of the Lysanders, because that's going to be unimportant. So that would have been what we wanted to do. But I didn't do it in time, and our opponent got frustrated, which is fine. I had him dead to rights there for sure. So I wasn't trying to slow roll him. I was just trying to make the best decision possible. Alrighty. I think I actually did pretty well that game. Check in with me tomorrow and we'll find out what my coach thinks. Okay, game 2. And I did not look to see what types they're playing. I want to think that there was Psychic, but we definitely want to go first. Psychic Box, Victini coin, which is really cool. I've never seen that coin before. Once again, we start with an EX, which is alright. What? Oh, and we're facing a baby Mewtwo. Okay, so here, I think our first step is to play the Trainer's Mail. That's dicey. No, I think we Ultra Ball and get Hoopa, so we can improve the odds of hitting that. Ultra Ball, we'll get rid of the Ultra Ball and the Pokemon Catcher, because it's obviously not important right now. Do we have Hoopa? We don't have Hoopa. Well, that's not the way we want it to be. Okay, so the mail is there. So Hoopa's prized. What else is prized? Looks like one of our EXs is prized. One of our elixirs. One of our sycamores. That's only 4 prizes. We've got all the Sky Fields this time. What am I missing? In? No, in's right there. Okay, so I'm debating between Shaymin, I think Shaymin, ideally, so I'm really torn here. The worst he's going to be able to do is 20, 40, is 40 if we manually attach. So I think we want to do that. We're obviously, even if we get a baby Volcanion, we're not going to be able to play him. Now we're going to play the Trainer's Mail. See what that gives us. We get a Max Elixir and an Ultra Ball. Oh, I think we need the Ultra Ball to get some more stuff going on. I don't want to discard these energy, but I'd rather get a full Shaymin, so I think we have to. I'm going to grab the baby Volcanion. I could have seen grabbing almost anything with that. Now we'll obviously play the Shaymin. We do at least have discards in play now. Okay, so we can pull. That was weird. We can pull him in. We can do Max Elixir. It hits. And now I think we want to go ahead and play the Escape Rope, get the baby out, and then we'll be set up for next turn. So 2 energy there. Obviously the one downside, the one bad thing about our hand right now is that we do not have any draw. So that would be an ideal top deck, but who knows if it'll happen. I think our play is going to be to do 1 attachment to the baby and I guess steam up the other energy. We have a Lysandre, so we can at least Lysandre something meaningful for our 50 damage to go on to. If nothing better is available. That would be something meaningful. So I'll definitely Lysandre the Trubbish and hit it for 50. Kind of makes me sad though, if we're only able to hit it for 50. Because obviously we want to take the KO. I haven't paid attention to what he's discarding at all. Nothing important. I think he whiffed the Trainer's Mail. That was maybe not the best time to look at his discards. So he's trying to decide, wow, no energy at all. Okay. So, first things first, we want to play the Trainer's Mail, deal with randomness, and we get an N. He's stuck. He didn't have any energy. I want to take the N, but I think so. He's stuck. I think we can. He could have. Did he play? Did he play a Sycamore? I don't think he could have played Sycamore. So I think we want to go ahead and Lysandre the Trubbish this turn, and then get our 1 hit in on it. And do a power heater. We've got the in for next go around, and this helps us progress. And next time we can do another power heater, we'll have at least 1 fully established Volcanion-EX. He does get, he did have a, why didn't he play that last time? Maybe I missed something. I guess he played a lot of, well, I guess he played down. He wasn't as stuck as I thought. I still like our play for the most part. Uh, I think we got we're furthering our setup pretty well. And this turn, if he doesn't find a way to retreat the Garbodor, we're going to be able to take that KO and prevent losing our abilities. So I say we will. I think we always want to attach this to a Volcanion-EX first, because worst comes to worst, we can just leave the baby Volcanion there. Okay, this is pretty. I don't think we want to play the Sky Field currently. We don't have any need for it, and we can wait and use it to counter if he parallel cities us or something. He probably won't do that because we're only playing 3, but so I think we want to do a Max Elixir. We hit, and we'll go ahead, play it down here. I think I want to go ahead and bench the baby just as a backup, since we're gonna do a steam up anyway. We're gonna have to attach 2 energies anyway. I don't want to over attach. I probably should have done the elixir to this guy, so that if we had to manually retreat and discard, he would have had extra. But I didn't. I'm doing 1 steam up because that's all it takes to kill a Trubbish, a Garbodor, and we'll go from there. Here and here. And we get Hoopa. So we could now look at playing our, well, okay. So we'll probably play the Sky Field. And then, oh, he's gonna make us, no, he's discarding, he's using, okay. Did parallel to lower damage, that's not gonna matter. And this is gonna hurt though. KO. Ouch. Alrighty. Okay, so I think we're gonna promote here. We're gonna play the Hoopa, play the Sky Field, play a Sky Field. We're going to be able, so we'll get 1 steam up. We'll get a Shaymin. Okay. Hoopa. Yes. Unfortunately, we can't get a KO because one of them is prized. Okay. So I probably should have promoted the baby Volcanion to help use him for continuing, since, okay, I think we'll go ahead and steam up once, and then I think we do a manual attachment to this Volcanion to help him get a little bit further set up, and then we're gonna bench the Shaymin, draw 6 more cards. We get a Float Stone, we get a Pokemon Catcher. What supporters have we played? We played in and Lysandre. Okay, so we can try the Pokemon Catcher. Knocking out this guy would get a surprise, but that's not important. Any knockout we take, he's gonna come back. I think our best bet is gonna be to attach the float and retreat into our baby Volcanion, and then power heater on him to get this Volcanion more set up. And then I think we're we're just going to end. I'm trying to decide if we want to thin our deck out before we do that. We'd rather get some damage on this Mewtwo than on anything back there. So playing the Pokemon Catcher now isn't needed. We don't need to play the Ultra Ball. We don't really need the Sky Field, but I think countering his stadiums is a good thing. There's definitely more useful cards we can get, so I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball away the Pokemon Catcher and the Sky Field. And do we want him at all? I think we're going to pass and then play our N. We could have benched him, but it's just an extra Lysandre target. Go ahead, go for the Max Elixir. It does hit. Play it there. I guess we'll do the additional steam up. We have the energy retrieval in hand to bring it back. So it's just a little bit more damage on Mega Mewtwo in preparation. There's a small part of me that wants to go ahead and play the energy retrieval now, but I think we'll wait. We'll wait. If we play it now, we have the energy. If he were, but yeah, we'll go ahead and play it. Just so we don't lose the opportunity. Having more energy in our deck for us to draw into is certainly a good thing. And we still have enough to attach here, which is the most important thing. And then I don't know where else we want to attach, so I guess I'm going to go here. The other argument might have been to go for Hoopa for the ability to retrieve faster, but I don't think. I think, you know, worst comes to worst, hitting for 100 isn't a bad thing. You know, that's one steam up below what we hit for with our EXs, so that's not horrible. So we ended up with 80 damage on him. We don't have to steam up to take a KO next go around, but he is going to Lysandre and KO us now. He doesn't have anything else going for him. Neither do we. He's going to again knock out the one with Float Stone because that's, you know, the thing to do. Pretty sure we're you know, out of the running here, but we're gonna give it our all. I'm interested to hear what I did wrong because I'm sure I made some misplays. Plays, you know, gets a Sycamore, he can't play it, and then any Psychic Infinities for another KO. So if we just promote, we can take a knockout. We can't attack next turn, and we don't have an easy way to retreat. But if we promote here, we can steam up and attach. We get the knockout. I think that's the way to go. Steam up. There's nothing left in our deck to really help us. We will grab the Float Stone. I don't think I even want to attach it though. We have 11 cards left. Knocking out 7 of them. There's really nothing that can help us in our deck from here. So I think we're just going to go ahead and take the KO. Alrighty, so we know we have lots of energy in our deck because we end it back in after we did the retrieval and into back in. Oh, I think Fisherman might be prized. Alrighty, so that's gonna be a KO, right? 30 times, yeah. Alright, and he again lowers our damage. Takes the KO. Trubbish isn't in play. We don't have enough to KO the Mewtwo though. So if we promote and then we hit for 160, he won't be able to KO us in one turn. I'm gonna do this. I'm going to bench this Volcanion. I'm going to attach the Float Stone. Part of me says play the Max Elixir, and part of me says don't. So if we Lysandre the Trubbish now, the reason I'm saying don't, well, the reason I'm thinking not to play it, not to play the Max Elixir, is if we Lysandre, we can't steam up, and if we, he's got a Float Stone on already. Maybe we Lysandre this guy. Okay, so I don't think we have any way to attach it. Lysandre here, right? If we were able to Sycamore and then steam up, we could take a knockout on the Trubbish. Steaming up twice would take that knockout, but we can't, because we'd have to Sycamore, and if we Sycamored, we can't Lysandre, and since we Lysandred, we can't Sycamore. I think we want to not do the Max Elixir because we want to preserve the maximum ability to steam up. So now the question is, do we want to hit with the baby or to hit with our big Volcanion? I think we're going to go ahead, hit with the baby for 20. Take an energy here. We'll go ahead and randomly stick one on Hoopa for retreat purposes. Oh, and my damage is decreased, so we actually hit for nothing. Okay, that's fine. He plays down the Trubbish, and he's Sycamores. He's able to evolve to a Mewtwo and attach DCE, but he still doesn't get the knockout. Okay, well, so do we can't steam up anymore. Our only option would have been to Lysandre the Garbodor and kill it with an EX. That would have been the only way to preserve the ability to steam up, but then obviously he just takes a KO on our EX. I'll play this. Wow, doesn't hit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we don't have energy left in our deck. Apparently not. Professor's letter? No, we didn't. We didn't have any. My bad. So all we're going to be able to do is do the maximum amount of damage on this Mewtwo and lose the game. I guess we could have played the Sky Field to make that slightly more of a maximum. Okay, he's Lysandering. He wants to take a KO out on the baby. That's fine. I think we're both clear that he would KO. Would he have not KO'd the EX? I'm pretty sure he just KO'd a previous one. Is my math wrong? If I screwed that up. Anyway, 2 longer matches, so we'll go ahead and wrap things up. I'm hoping I didn't screw the math up and he actually had a KO. Because if he didn't have a KO on our EX, we just ran around avoiding a showdown that wouldn't have been a showdown. Whew. Okay. Well, we'll come back and hear more about what we did wrong in those matches tomorrow. With that, we'll go ahead, wrap things up, and bid you adieu.